All right, everybody, before we get started, I just wanted to continue my thought about the train. We got a $1 donation saying the Venga Boys. LOL. We got a $1 donation from Shuli that said Woovens. We got a $5 donation from Cece that said train time, CCIs. Me Madre, Mama CJ donated $1 and said ride the train. Anonymous donated $2 and said asterisk Mila, which I can only assume means kill.
Yes.
We got a $15 donation from Dark Whimsicott saying, did we make it? Yes, we did. The incentive has been met.
Woo!
At the buzzer. Thank you to everybody that got that donation. So you are going to kill Mila and make sure that you do it properly.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Vysuals, thank you so much for doing this. We have Vysuals and we have their commentator, Rhino Feeder, and I'm going to turn it over for y'all, and we'll wait for your countdown.
Thanks, bud. Hello, everyone. I am Vysuals Television, and today we're going to be running Hollow Knight All Skills, or No Thrills. And with me is my co-commentator, Rhino Feeder, as he's already been introduced. Hello.
Hey, it's me. I'm excited to do this with you, Viz. This is, I know you're not super thrilled about this category, as you just called it No Thrills, but it's going to be a fun time. I think it's a fun category. It shows off a decent amount of the game. So yeah, should be a fun time here.
I think it's actually a pretty cool. So it's not something I like. Either of us like running as far as PBs go, but I think it's cool to show as far as like multiple things to show off to casual players. But yeah, so we're gonna get started here. Let me delete this little test file here. All right, and it's going to go live as soon as I click this difficulty. And so in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pew. All right, so this is all skills, no major glitches. It is a category that has seen a lot of improvements recently because of the tournament going on right now. And so the first thing you're going to see here is what's known as the inventory drop. And the inventory drop is a trick that was patched out right after this. It is where you open the inventory and it unlocks your fall speeds, or uncaps your fall speed, and it gets rid of the hard landing animation from when you slam into the ground after falling for too long. And so we're going to start off, and at the top left you're going to see the UI. The 5 little alien heads are our masks, aka our health bar. There are ways to increase it, but you're not going to see that in this category. We're going to have 5 health throughout the whole run. And to the left of that is the soul meter, and the soul meter is going to be our magic. It's basically our mana or NP, and it allows us to heal or use spells once we get spells here in a little bit. Don't have them yet.
Yeah, an important thing to note too is in this game, that little mana bar that Viz just mentioned, hitting enemies with our nail is what fills that up. So a lot of times throughout this run, you'll see Viz maybe even slowing down a little bit or taking extra time to make sure he's hitting enough enemies to make sure we have enough mana for skips or techniques rather that come up in following rooms.
Yeah, you can think of the soul meter as a 1 through 9 or 0 through 9, because every hit gives you 1, and then every spell or heal uses 3. And so if you have a full soul meter, it means you can use 3 spells or 3 heals, etc., etc. And so, yeah, we're going to be making our way through Forgotten Crossroads here. There's a little bit of an RNG room right here. Hope we can get down without getting hit. Perfect.
Yeah, it's one of the most frustrating parts of the start of run for most runners, because getting hit there, it's not a massive time loss, but just getting started that way is never fun, and it's a very RNG thing where those gruzzers spawn.
Nothing you can do about it. We're going to be trying to do a trick here called the double... Nope! No! Sag. Oh my goodness. Hello. Come here. Thank you. Normally, you hit that stalactite over to the right, and it kills both the aspids, but I messed it up. Woo! So anyways, we're going to be making our way through. So Forgotten Crossroads is a big... it's like a big circle with like a middle part, and the middle part is where the boss False Knight, and behind False Knight is where the first spell is. So normally, if we had our way, we would, instead of going left when we went down the well, we would go to the right, because it would be faster to get over to this right side. But there's a gate at the top of this room right here that you can only open from the bottom, so you got to go all the way around.
Yeah, while not a whole ton's going on right here, another important thing to point out about the UI is where we see the number 13 there. That's the amount of geo that Viz has, which is kind of like the game's currency. We're going to use that later throughout the run to buy various abilities and charms and other things. So keep an eye on that, because geo routing can be a little tight at the start of this run here.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to see our first boss here. It's the False Knight. In a normal playthrough or casual playthrough, you would normally knock this guy down 3 times. It takes a certain amount of hits to knock him down, and then you would when you kill False Knight, you get an item called the City Crest, and you get 200 geo from a chest over to the left. But we have faster ways to get geo, and we don't need the City Crest, so we're going to do a dev intended skip here where we break this left wall, and we're just going to leave, and he gets to stay alive. So having 23 geo is actually pretty good at this point. I like that.
Over 20 geo is nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna make our way. Oh wait, hold on. Little mini torch game. Oh, sad. You can barely swing your nail. We have a lot of little mini games in the beginning of the run just to make it more interesting. I'm assuming a lot of games do that where you get a little burnt out on the first split of the game. So we find ways to entertain ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're gonna get the first spell here, the Vengeful Spirit, aka the Fireball. Fireball is normally 15 damage, and our nail is 5. But a little bit later in the game, we're going to find ways to get this Fireball to do a bit more damage than that, to the point where it's actually very, very powerful. There are ways to upgrade the nail to do more than 5 damage, but we don't actually get them in this run because, if you've ever watched speedrunning of Hollow Knight, like, the spells are the whole thing. Like, the nail is just to collect soul. And the 5 damage is kind of just a little bonus, but even if it did 0 damage, it wouldn't affect us that much.
Yeah, and that's such a funny contrast to the way most people, myself included, casually played this game, where Nail was the primary damage dealer and Soul was mostly just hoarded so we could heal when we took inevitable damage to the really hard bosses in this game. But as speedrunners, we know that spells are an incredible way to defeat bosses and enemies really, really fast. I
jumped into that like it was my job. So right there, it's the Boulder, and it's one of the most I'm going to heal, just why not? Or I'm going to bench, just why not? But the Boulder can shoot 2 things. It can shoot that little blue little mini Boulder, or it can shoot a little orange goop. And it takes 4 fireballs to kill them normally, and you can only hold 3 fireballs worth of soul. So you have to use your 3 fireballs and then hope that he gives you one of those blue guys, which is a 50-50. And it can get kind of annoying whenever you have a good start, and then he just gives you like 6th spit, and you waste 10 seconds. But luckily, he gave us a 2nd spit, not too bad. And we're gonna kill another one right here with a little minor glitch. Luckily, we don't have to wait for the same RNG 50-50 because we can kind of activate him and then go off screen and shoot our fireball, which allows him to get hit 4 times just by 1. So it cuts out a lot of the RNG at the start of this run.
Yeah, and we're seeing another really important use of the Fireball, at least for speedrunners early on here, which is Fireball skips, where you guys see Viz jumping up, using his Fireball and turning around to both reset his momentum, his fall speed, as well as using the knockback a little bit to make some jumps that we otherwise wouldn't be able to. And you're going to see a few of those skips in Green Path here that save a ton of time.
Yeah, that was the first one that I ended up landing. There's going to be 3 in this category. There's a lot more in... Actually, how many more are there in low percent?
In low percent, there are a lot of Fireball skips everywhere. Yeah, it's very cursed. But.
So they're super useful because you can make gaps that you otherwise normally wouldn't be able to. But once you get the dash, it kind of doesn't... we don't need it anymore, but low percent doesn't get the dash. So that's why they have to do it all over the world. And this category, this is the last one right here.
Yeah, and this last one... Yeah, well done. It's that's probably it's the least punishing one to miss, honestly.
Yeah.
All in all, I think hitting all the Fireball skips saves somewhere around 15 to 20 seconds in that neighborhood if you add all 3 of them up. So well done getting all of them.
Thank you. So we're gonna try to. Normally you can shoot a fireball and that guy will jump backwards and the fireball will hit twice, so you don't have to use all 3 of your fireballs, but I didn't get him to jump backwards. It's a trick I'm not very good at.
Yeah, and like we talked about, hitting enemies is how we get soul in this game, so soul management is an incredibly important thing that speedrunners keep in the back of their minds, is knowing how much soul they have and how much they're going to need in the next section. You can see Viz here stopping and turning around to hit some of these enemies, and you might think, hey, that's losing time because you're letting go of left, but we need a certain amount of soul for things to go smoothly in the following sections, so it's worth it.
So unfortunately, this Moss Knight right here can be either over to the left or over to the right, and it's obviously a lot faster if he's over to the left, but he wasn't, so I had to waste a little bit of time waiting for him to come back over so we could hit him with the fireball.
Yeah, and it's important to get, but the reason that we go out of our way to kill both those enemies is, again, we talked about Geo and how we need to buy certain things. Fairly early on in this run, we need to have 800 Geo to buy one of the abilities we need for the rest of this run, so that's why we see Viz going out of his way to get a lot of Geo here. And this is the first boss fight of the run, Hornet. We're going to see her again later, but for right now, she's not too hard of a boss. You'll see Viz trying to, upon staggering Hornet, if you knock her back with the same hit, if you stagger her with a fireball, there's a chance that she gets knocked backwards and the fireball actually hits her a second time. So that's something that we often go for in speedrunning to make that fight go a little bit quicker. Good fight from Viz there.
Thank you. Also, you said this is the first boss fight of the run, and False Knight just sitting there like, am I a joke to you?
I mean, we don't really fight False Knights, to be fair.
True. we do the first third of the
fight. we just leave him hanging there, right?
Yeah. So now we're going to make our way to the Fungal Waste now that we have the dash. And one cool thing about the dash is you get one in midair, right? So you can also, like, if you dash off a ledge, you get another one in midair. But other than that, the only way to get another dash is to either touch the ground, touch the wall once you have wall jump, which we are on our way to go get, or one really cool, oh, that's unfortunate. One really cool thing about the movement, hello, can I? My goodness, is the pogo, aka like down slashing and bouncing off at either an enemy or like a background object, allows you to refresh your dash while in midair. So, like, let's say I dashed and then bounced off one of those little mushroom guys, I could have a second dash before I ever touch the ground. And that's going to become really important later on, especially once we get the double jump, because your pogo refreshes both.
Yeah, and through this split, we can see Viz taking specific routing to try and get enough soul. We need about 6 hits worth of soul for the rest of the split to fireball 2 different sections of enemies. One for Geo collection, and then another for a really cool skip we're going to see coming up here. But first, there's Explosion Pogo, and Viz, do you want me to talk about that, or?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so Explosion Pogo, it's patched out in the current patch of the game, but we're going to see Viz here draw one of these orbs down to the bottom, and then you can jump on it, pogo it once, then after it explodes, yeah, there we go, pogo the explosion, and that lets us skip about a 20-second section where we'd have to otherwise go around. And then we head right into Mantis Pogo here, where we shoot a fireball to kill this Mantis, and then we do 2 pogos on top of, well done, getting the corner correction, you love to see it. Yeah. That's 2 very difficult skips back to back there for runners.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, top runners will normally have those down, but they'll just be times, like, it'll just be like a week or something where you just, all of a sudden you're like, I've done this 1,000 times in a row and I just can't do Explosion Pogo for some reason. It can get kind of obnoxious. But yeah, so now we have the, this is where the movement really starts to open up in my eyes, because now that you have, you know, wall jump and dash, you can do a lot. And first things first is we are going to make our way over to a quote-unquote boss, if you want to consider Gruzmother a boss.
It's a fairly quick boss, and there's a technique that we, as speedrunners, use called nail canceling, which is if you swing your nail, then shoot a fireball immediately after, it sort of cancels the animation of swinging your nail and lets you do a whole ton of damage really, really quickly. So you're going to see Viz use that technique to kill Gruzmother really, really fast with 3 nail cancels and then 6 more nail hits after that. And the reason that we use 6 nail hits instead of shooting any more fireballs is because, as we're going to see in a second, Gruzmother spawns a bunch of little mini Gruzzers after you kill her, and we want 2 fireballs to help kill those enemies really quickly. That's more time efficient than using the fireballs on Gruzmother.
I got 5 nail hits, and then I, for some reason, I thought that was it. And I was like, oh, I'm good. And I stood there for a second.
Come on, I just said it's 6, man. Come on.
I'm sorry. Oh, baby. So that's ideal right there, other than being over to the left side of the room, but other than that.
Yeah, and that's why we save those 2 fireballs, because being able to kill all of those Gruzzers really quickly is worth the slightly extra time it takes on Gruz Mother.
So this is the only charm you're going to see in the game that I just bought. If you want to explain what it does and why we'd use it.
Yeah, sure. So the charm Viz just bought costs 220 Geo, and it's called Shaman Stone. What it does is it makes our spells do a little bit more damage, as well as making their hitboxes bigger. So the base Vengeful Spirit or Fireball that we have normally does 15 damage. Now, on top of being a bigger hitbox spell, it's also going to do 20 damage. And later, when we upgrade our Fireball to be a spell that would normally do 30 damage, it's going to do 40 damage. So that's going to be our main damage dealer for most of the early game here.
And what you just saw me do is we kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone there. We used the binge to put on the charm, which is, Shaman Stone. But then we also had ourselves die right there so that our shade could spawn. And we did what's called a shade skip, where we kind of lure it over to the wall and pogo off it so that we can get into this area, which we normally would need a lot more, tools to get to. This unlocks the right side of the City of Tears, which is just chock full of stuff. If you ever played like Rando of this game, everything is over here.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, Viz is going to need 800 Geo fairly soon. You might be thinking, wow, where are we going to get all that? There's an enemy coming up that gives us exactly 420 Geo. I know, pretty dang. So we're going to get that, as well as killing some other miscellaneous enemies along the way. Which is why you see Viz going out of his way a little bit here to shoot fireballs and kill some of these enemies instead of just going around them. That is part of the routing of this run to collect that Geo here.
Yeah. So we're gonna one thing we didn't talk about. I sat on that bench there, and the main thing that you've already seen me do 2 or 3 times now is where when you quit out of the game, you go back to the last hard save, which is normally a bench, but not always. There are a couple things in the game that set your hard saves in other places, but. So we're gonna set our save right there at the bench, and then we're gonna quit back to it after we get 2 different things.
Yeah, after we kill the gorgeous this big orange husk here, we're gonna save and quit back out there.
Did you just call it orange and not gold?
Gold. It's the gorgeous husk. We all know. Orange. Well, I mean, the infection is orange, right? So I always just think of that. Oh, you only got 419. You hate to see it.
No blaze it.
No blaze it. Yeah, but so what Viz is going to pick up now is it's an ability called Dash Slash, which lets our nail hit really far distances. If you charge up the ability, then use your dash and then let go of the nail, you do a really far swing. And we kind of abuse that in speedrunning to hit certain levers through walls to open up sections of the game that we shouldn't be able to get to. But let us get a lot more powerful abilities and just move through areas quicker. Yeah.
So this is the I almost said Howling Cliffs. This is the Kingdom's Edge, and this is where we're gonna find the first of the 3 nail arts that are in the game. Like you said, Dash Slash, and that's another one of the main reasons, if not the biggest reason, why we play on this patch is because they took out lever skips right after this, and the first lever skip you're going to see is after we get Dash Slash, but it doesn't actually use Dash Slash. It's the most common one. It's in it's in the 4 main categories I run. Ow, that was rude. Yeah, and then you're gonna see a lot of Dash Slash usage after that, especially to hit things through walls, levers through walls.
Yeah, honestly, very shortly after picking up Dash Slash, we go right to work with it. We're going to go upgrade our Fireball in a way that we normally wouldn't be able to do without going through a lot more crap to get keys to...
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing to explain. Normally, to get the upgrade for the Fireball, which you see in True Ending, you have to go to Crystal Peaks, get a key, and then use that key, talk to Sly, that key unlocks a different key, and then you buy that key, and then go use it. But since we have Dash Slash, we can avoid getting either of those keys.
Yeah, the important to note, I guess, that there's a shopkeeper in this game named Sly, and in most categories we rescue Sly so we can go buy certain things from him. But in all skills, he doesn't have anything that we need, so we just let him stay infected, unfortunately, and go on through the run as we normally would.
He's absolutely lost in the sauce.
He's sure. Gosh.
So yeah, this
so
is. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so coming up here, you're gonna see the first lever skip we perform, where you're gonna see Viz hit a lever through the floor, and that's gonna force Viz to have to, well, it's gonna unlock a door for us that we would normally have to fight a mini boss for and go around, but this lets us get right up the spire here, and as you can see, the room is gonna remain dark as Viz goes through it. But as speedrunner, it's a very, very quick, short room. As speedrunners, we just learned to do that room in the dark. The reason it stays dark is because we never actually hit the trigger that would tell the game that that area should be illuminated, that we can go through it. So, yeah, we just learned to do it in the dark, and it's very, very straightforward.
Yeah. So, now we're going to make our way to the most hated area in the game. I think 90% of all speedrunners, I think, say it, but I guess, you know, some casual people are like, no, Deep Nest. But as far as speedrunning and trying to go fast, this area is an absolute nightmare because it's just chock full of RNG. I mean, most teleporting enemies in this game are, you know, really obnoxious with RNG, but this is like the epitome of like every enemy, every boss. It just sucks.
Yeah, and we're going to see Viz do another lever skip here using dash slash to hit that lever through the door. Normally we would have, like I mentioned before, we would have to unlock a door below us here, go through, fight a boss, then climb all the way around to unlock this spell. But with dash slash, we have enough range on our nail to just hit the lever through the wall and skip all that. And now we have an incredibly powerful ability to help us with some of the bosses in the early game.
Yeah. Yeah, this boss coming up, like in 106, we have to, in order for it not to just take forever, we have to use Fury, which lets you do more damage whenever you're at 1 health. But in this category, we have Shade Soul, so we can absolutely shred his health.
Yeah, and then another lever skip you just saw there, hitting through the wall while we're on an elevator. That one's it. So, like I said, we pick up dash slash, then we put it right to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, though, a lot of teleporting enemies in Full Send. Yeah.
That was so rude.
One of the most painful things about these enemies is, as you guys just saw, they can... The game doesn't really care where we are. It will teleport those soul twisters directly in front of us, even if we're in the middle of a dash or anything. So it's a big reason most runners are really not a fan of Soul Sanctum. A lot of RNG here, and we have to go right into a boss fight after potentially taking 1, 2, maybe even 3 RNG hits.
And we're not healing.
Yeah, we're not healing. A staple of Viz marathon runs. We're not healing.
So, as you see in the background, that is Soul Master. Little piss boy.
Yeah, and keeping with the theme of teleporting, this boss also teleports around a lot. We can kind of use that to our advantage, though. If we get on a specific side of the Soul Master, and you see Viz doing it a little bit, we can shoot him, forcing him to teleport away from us so that our newly upgraded fireball that does 40 damage actually hits him twice for a total of 80 damage, which is a ton here.
Yeah. And then this next phase, he literally dies in 6 nail hits and 2 fireballs. So we just got to get him to stop doing this little angry dive.
Yeah, and there's a couple different strategies that we can use if we're really, really going for a fast run here. Some damage tanks that we can do so no matter how many dives the Soul Master gives us, we can quick kill him, but definitely a bit riskier of a strategy, especially for a marathon setting. Yeah.
And shout outs to Tinker for doing it with 1 health in 106 runs. He's a mad lad.
Yeah, so the spell Viz is picking up here, this is the Desolate Dive, and its primary use for us in speedrunning here is to be used to break the floor below us in certain sections, at least until we get its upgraded super strong cousin, the Descending Dark, which we'll be getting shortly. Oh,
I tried.
There's another lever skip, you see? Yeah. But dive itself does have some combat applications. It does a decent amount of damage, as well as giving us a ton of iframes, which we're going to utilize a lot later, again, once we get the upgraded form of that spell and we start using it against bosses. It's an incredibly powerful tool.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, including myself, just were like, oh, this is just a, oh, go through the floor tool, but it definitely has more applications than that.
I'm always so nervous about doing the dash slash on that first elevator.
Me too. Absolutely same. It's very scary.
Yeah, so now Viz is going to need to gather 300 total geo in the fairly near future, and there's a couple easy places to do that. Yeah, I was going to say you're low. I definitely wasn't just bringing that up to let you know you're low.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Appreciate it.
There are there's a fast travel mechanic in this game called stag stations that let us travel between different predefined areas on the map. And it costs geo usually to open them up, and we need 300 geo to open one up to go back to Dirtmouth where we started this run, to head to the next area. So you're gonna see Viz here, maybe taking a little bit of extra time because again we need 300 geo here. There's no way around it. Yeah, that's why you see you see Viz collecting soul here.
Zol.
Zol, yeah, Viz and soul. I don't even know. Yeah. So, yeah, killing some enemies here, and that's plenty of geo. You don't really have to slow down too much there if you have enough soul. So
yeah.
And then for the rest of the run, geo is pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it's like an afterthought now.
Yeah, that's really the last point in the run where geo is kind of tight. So
I say as I have not had enough for Distant Village Stag leaving Beeston.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Actually, in my PB, I think that happened. The chest after Watcher Night, I forgot like 25 geo, and I was short, and it cost me my first sub 51. I hate to see it.
You really do. So
yeah,
we're gonna stag our way over to Dirtmouth, and now we have the very exciting beginning of this split where we just do a lot of dashing, because unfortunately. We routed out getting the stag station in Crossroads, which would have cut out a lot of this, but it's actually faster to never have to go get it, not only for the geo, but because of just, having to go up and unlock it itself. So it's actually faster to just do these little boring rooms here.
Yeah, and something that I don't normally like to talk about things that happened, because I didn't want to interrupt you, but a really cool technique that you just did there, Viz, was using charging your nail art to get early control.
Yeah.
That's something we do at a couple points in this run. So when we're in times of the run where we normally wouldn't have control of our character, we can still charge up a nail art, and the act of charging a nail art and then releasing it gives us control back for our character. What you saw Viz do is he fell into the well. Yep. Normally we would have to fall straight down there and take a hard fall, but we're going to see Viz use that, I think, 2 or 3 other places in this run as well.
Also, we're going to attempt to do a trick right here called Pogax. We are going to try to pogo off this pickaxe that this miner throws. Ah! And
I'm like 3 seconds behind.
Yeah,
so.
I got it.
Nice. There you go.
It saves a tiny bit of time. Yeah.
I was going to say Crystal Peaks is a lot of runners' favorite section because there's not really a lot of RNG here, and what little RNG there is very easily mitigatable. And it's a very heavily movement and cycle based section, so it's very fun for a lot of runners to kind of show off their movement and have fun.
Yeah, definitely my favorite area. It has been for like a long time. Whenever people are like, "Oh, I hate Crystal Peaks," I'm like, it's literally like the most fun area.
Yeah, there's not really much that, I mean, if you know the rooms and you know the, like, all of those enemies that are shooting lasers at us, they're on very, mostly consistent cycles, or consistent enough where we don't really need to drastically change our movement regardless of what they do. We can pretty much do the same thing every time. The room we see Viz in here now is one of the most fun, in this very fun segment, it's one of the most fun rooms. We're going to see Viz do a set of very, very specific movements here, going for the dash slash skip there. But these lasers are very, very consistent, like all the other lasers in this section. And normally, as a casual player, you'd probably slow down here and be very scared. But speedrunners, we figured out a cycle to very effortlessly move through that room like the lasers don't even exist. And it looks really cool when done well, just like that.
decided to go for that dash slash that I've messed up in 2 different races.
Normally you don't go for the dash slash there, yeah.
I'm trying to show off as much as I can. But yeah, we so now we have the coolest ability in the game, the Crystal Dash.
Oh yeah.
Which allows you to charge either from the ground or from a wall, and you can shoot off into a horizontal left or right, and keep going basically until you get stopped by like an enemy or a wall, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, and that becomes super useful in the game. Honestly, beating the game would probably be faster if we didn't need to get Crystal Heart. But there's certain progression that we need to unlock that you literally need Crystal Heart for, so why not get it?
Yeah. So we're gonna leave that grub because we don't save grubs.
Yeah.
I looked at it and everything.
We see Viz going through a dark room here, which is fairly consistent as long as you know the room, you know what to do. Most runners normally practice though. I mean, at least me, Viz, I don't know about you, but when I learn dark rooms, I normally practice them in the light first and just find very, very consistent, repeatable ways to go through them.
Yeah, that's definitely the strat if you're gonna. No, I hate that so much.
Oop.
Oh, okay. Am I dead? I might be dead.
Please don't die. Oh god.
I need him to come over here.
Oh my god, I can't watch.
We're fine.
Okay. We're not healing.
Well, I have to.
Well, now you do. Yeah, so there's a trick coming up where if the last hit we use to break this crystal is a dash slash, it keeps our momentum traveling all the way to the left, as you see. And it causes us to take 1 damage into the spikes there, but it gives us early control. So normally we would have to wait for this whole cutscene and everything, and we just C-dash on out of here.
I can't believe I didn't die.
Yeah, I don't know how I gotta be honest, I don't know how you didn't die. And that's probably the worst place in the entire run to take a death.
It's so bad.
2 minutes of time loss. Yeah, that spawns us all the way back in city where we just were. So we have to come all the way back here.
Yeah, that would have been really rough. But we're fine.
So here we're gonna pick up the Dream Nail, which is an ability that we need to beat the game. There's 3 Dreamers spread throughout the Hollow Nest, the area where we are. And we need to absorb all 3 of them to unlock the final temple that we go in to fight the Hollow Knight. Also, outside of that, the Dream Nail can also be used to hit enemies and gain soul. 1 Dream Nail hit equals 3 hits of soul. We talked about the soul meter being divided into ninths earlier. So we use the Dream Nail in a couple places to gather soul in a little bit more efficient way than swinging our nail. And also, if you're into the lore of the game, you can Dream Nail NPCs to see what they're thinking.
Yep. Oh, that's really unfortunate. I've never had that happen.
Did you fall?
Yeah. I didn't know.
No.
I guess I've never had that happen where I like dashed too early. It's fine.
I did that in a race like a month ago, so I feel your pain.
It's all good. It's like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we have the Dream Nail, and this is like the most required. Like there's required items, but this is the most required. Like there's just no way to beat the game because you physically can't interact with the Dreamers, which you can't. Like you have to, absorb them to even get into the last boss.
Yeah, like to my knowledge, even the most glitched of glitch categories in this game still require getting the Dream Nail.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, there's I know there's some weird stuff with main menu storage. Maybe
Yeah.
the absolute most glitched, but I'm not 100% sure. I think they can like room dupe. Maybe I don't follow glitch categories that much here.
Yeah,
we're
so we're gonna have to go
ignorant.
back to that dark room again. You see here, and now that we picked up Descending Dark, which again is the super powerful version of Desolate Dive, I think it does 88 damage if all 3 like sub hits of it make contact with an enemy. You're gonna see Viz use that to. I don't like to use the term free ever, but it makes this Watcher Knight fight fairly trivial. Which is just funny because for most people that run any percent, Watcher Knights is usually the biggest roadblock for new runners learning the category. It's a very difficult fight. And you see Viz before the fight starts using Dream Nail. You can hit those Watcher Knights before the fight starts to gather soul, and we make very quick work here of the Watcher Knights with I can't remember the names. Descending Dark. There we go. And that's unfortunate there. One of the knights rolling away. You really... Okay, he came back. You
Yeah,
really
he came
want
back.
you want both the knights to stay on top of each other here so that the D-Dark hits both of them.
Oh.
And again, having the iframes from D-Dark is just as valuable as the damage it does, because we can just sit there inside of the knights spamming that ability over and over again to kill them, and yeah, you see that fight is fairly trivial with the amount of abilities and power-ups we have in all skills here.
Gonna make Rhino happy?
Oh, no!
I've actually literally never done it. I was like, I bet this is how it works. I just did it.
So that little technique you guys saw Viz do, leaving Watcher Knights. So in this game, I mean, we've seen Viz do it a few times, but we haven't really explained it. There's a mechanic called wall cling storage or gate storage that you can get where if you dash through a gate as it's opening, the game thinks that we're still touching the wall, but it maintains our momentum from the dash. And we can use that to save a little bit of time in certain places. And because the game still thinks you're on a wall, you can actually wall jump up as out of thin air. And the one that we just saw Viz do leading Watcher Knights there, I think I'm like the only runner that actively does that regularly still. So very, very happy to see Viz do it.
Trying to show off, yeah. I should have done the Cyclone Slash on the Dream. I don't know how to do it, but...
Out of pure curiosity, what's your pace like right now compared to PB?
Probably really bad.
Oh, you're not looking? Okay, I didn't know if you were looking or not. Okay.
No, I have the live split, but it's on the like the all skills thing.
Gotcha.
So I can see the time. I just don't know like splits.
Yeah. And we're gonna pick up Geo from this chest right here, and that's really the last. This is the last part of the run where we need to worry about going out of our way for Geo at all. We pretty much have enough to go the rest of the way now.
Oh. There's like a lot of things I'm doing that I never do in runs, but I'm just testing them out, you know.
Yeah, right. Now's the time to have some fun.
Absolutely.
This is also the last time we need to go through this dark room, which is very nice.
Yeah. Getting lost in there, like we know it really well, but you can get lost. You just think you're a little bit higher or lower than you are.
Yeah, so we're coming up here, we're going to see the first of 3 semi-difficult skips that Viz is going to perform. This first one is called the Spike Tunnel skip, where you're going to see Viz pogo off of the bottom spikes here, and let's see, yeah, well done.
Thank you, thank you.
And then we have 2 skips called the Isma's skips here, where normally we wouldn't be able to get through these areas without an ability called Isma's Tear, which we're actually on our way to get right now. But utilizing our Mantis Claw, which lets us hold onto the wall, and C-Dash, we can skip over the, we can do some acid skips here that you normally wouldn't be able to do. And this lets us pick up Isma's Tear. This isn't required to beat the game, but because of the category all skills, Isma's Tear is considered a movement ability.
Yep. And
thus a skill, so we need to beat it for the category.
But Streamer, why isn't Dreamgate required?
Yeah. I'm missing some fun. There's so much to explain. Like, I just missed the early control you did on the Whormp there. Like, there's a lot going on in this
Yeah,
section.
it's really fast, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying my best to highlight the parts, but more or less what you guys saw Viz do there was hit an enemy in a way that it would do damage to him during that during when he picked up the Isma's Tear there, so we can get control of our character early.
I've never C-dashed right there, and I just decided to try it out. That's
Yeah,
that's why I ended it late. I was like, oh wait, I have to land on that platform. So yeah, we're gonna make our way down here into the Ancient Basin, where we are gonna find one of my favorite. Well, it's the first version of my favorite boss. My favorite boss is Lostkin, but this is Broken Vessel. There's a lot of dream bosses in the game that we're not gonna see in this category. That it's essentially like one version of the boss. It's a little bit easier. That term is I use very loosely. And then a second version of the boss that's normally like faster, does more damage, etc., etc. So this is Broken Vessel, and he guards the double jump ability, the Monarch Wings. But and the other version is the Lostkin, which is like one of my favorite bosses in the game. Which
yeah,
unfortunately
so
we don't get to see.
This is moving through right now, where all these Maulers are shooting acid at us. There's a very consistent way that we can move through here to not get hit. This hit that Viz is going to take here is a planned hit. There are ways you can do movement there that are consistent to not get hit, but if we're going for speed, taking damage there is actually the most optimal way to make it through. That last hit is not optimal, but it happens. And then you're going for base and skip.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that skip Viz just got there where he dashed into the wall and jumped off it. If you get that within the first few tries, it saves about 2 seconds.
Something like that.
Versus going around, yeah, but it looks very swag, so we go for it. And so we see Viz here destroying all these little infection seedlings on the ground because this fight doesn't start until all of them are either destroyed or enter the broken vessel. So that saves a little bit of time here. And again, we're going to unleash our new D-Dark ability to just do a ton of damage to this boss, kill him real quick.
Get absolutely sniped. Yep, and that's a broken vessel. It's a boss that it can go very poorly, and you can end up taking 3 or 4 damage. But most of the time, if you can get it into a nice little like stagger pattern like that, you can actually get out pretty unscathed.
Yeah. Yeah, and so here now we see Viz picking up the Monarch Wings, which, as Viz mentioned before, this is the double jump ability in the game. Gives us a bit more vertical.
Yeah.
And from here, we're going to head over to one of our friends from the beginning of this run, Hornet. We're going to have to fight her a second time. And this is what most runners would probably consider the hardest boss fight in this category. Yeah. Hornet's movement can be fairly unpredictable, and she's gained a couple new attacks from the first time we fought her. Most notably, a parry attack, or a counter, rather, where she will hold her needle over her head in a specific way. And if you hit her during that animation, not only does your attack get nullified and you get freeze frames, but she'll swing back fairly quickly with not giving you a whole ton of time to get out of the way, doing damage. So all things that aren't really good for speedrunning. And even worse, she can actually counter your spells too. So if you use a spell on her during that, it does 0 damage to her, and she attacks you immediately. And especially if you're in your animation for casting a spell, there's absolutely no way you have time to move out of the way for her counterattack. So it's probably the worst. I don't know about you, Viz, but to me, there's no worse feeling in this fight than getting her to parry one of your spells.
Oh, absolutely. Because then you just do no damage from the spell, and you it's the worst. It's the absolute worst.
Yeah, you lose your soul, like everything.
Yeah, everything sucks about it. Yeah. She can be real rude, but she's still Bug Waifu. Fun fact, I called her Bug Waifu in my GDQ run, and somebody in the comments said they stopped watching. Suck it.
No. Well, I'm gonna start watching even harder.
Yeah, right. To make up for it. That's the C dash I don't do anymore, but looks cool.
Nice. I've never seen that C dash actually.
Yeah, we used to do it in True Ending. It can be really finicky, especially because that Primal Aspect can actually shoot you through the bottom of that block. I think he might have actually almost... I don't know if he would have hit me right there, but if I would have been any slower, it looked like it might have hit me.
Yeah. So one of the biggest damage dealers for this Hornet 2 fight is if we get our spacing correct and our timing correct, if we can shoot fireballs at Hornet in such a manner that they make contact with her twice, which does a whole ton of damage, and that's going to be our main means for dealing damage during this fight. There, and you see Viz getting double there. I always tell people Viz has this fight down very, very well. Let's hope he doesn't let us down today here.
Oh, it's too close.
Yeah, and there's the counter attack we just saw there where you hit Hornet while she's in that animation, you don't do any damage, and she attacks you back. Really, really frustrating to get.
I didn't think I was that close to her being dead.
I gotta be honest, I thought you had a lot more hits left.
Yeah, me too. That's why I still have, like, you shouldn't have this much soul, like, left over, but I was like, oh, I still need to, I have a little bit left of the fight. Nope.
And so what we're picking up here is, it doesn't really gain us any new movement or abilities, but it's an item called the King's Brand, which will grant us access to the last area we go to in this run called the Abyss. You need that King's Brand to access the area, which is where we find the last 2 skills, if you will, for this. And we see Viz here doing, we mentioned earlier, the nail art early control. If you can charge a nail art during that cutscene when Hornet is saving you, and then if you release it after she goes away, we get full control of our character back, and it skips a little wake-up animation that the knight does. It saves a few seconds.
You can accidentally major glitch there, too, if you're not careful.
Yeah.
If you don't release it at the right time, it can kind of screw you, but we got it unlocked.
Yeah, if you release it too early, your knight can become invisible. In the community, we consider that a major glitch, which is banned, so that could just invalidate your run. But I mean, there's enough visual cues that it's pretty easy to not do that for experienced runners.
Yep.
Yeah. So next up here, we're gonna head over back to Dirtmouth, back to King's Pass actually, where we started the run, and head over from there to the Howling Cliffs, I believe.
Yep.
And we're gonna pick up the second nail art of this run called Cyclone Slash. Not as used in 1.2.2.1, but in current patch runs where inventory dropping is patched.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. In current patch where inventory dropping is patched out, you can actually use Cyclone Slash to drop a lot quicker than you normally would if timed correctly in a technique called a Cyclone Drop. But it still has some... We can still do Cyclone Drops in 1.2.2.1. We can use Cyclone Slash to hit enemies a little faster than we normally would. So it's not a super used nail art in this category, but again, it is a nail art, and thus we need to collect it to properly complete an all skills run.
Yep. And one thing is, that's the one nice thing about having the Cyclone Drop as an option, because there are situations in 1.2.2.1 where it's better to be able to drop fast and be able to move left and right, which is like the main benefit of it. So I mean, at least in 1.2.2.1 we had the option of, oh, do I want to use Cyclone Drop or Inventory Drop? So we can use either. The current patch can use the inventory drop, but it's a lot less limited, or a lot more limited of a use, because you have to open in the inventory on the first physics frame that you become airborne, which can make for some little bit of spaghetti.
I have said before that I would bet my bottom dollar that on average going for inventory drops loses more on current patch. Going for inventory drops loses more time than it saves.
Yeah, because you have to, if you're not getting it every time, like you're just losing like a second and a half every time you mess it up.
Right. Yeah. So now that we have Cyclone Slash here, we're gonna head over to Umu, probably the boss in this game that most speedrunners hate the most, regardless of category. Umu is a giant RNG fest in that this boss can give us extra attacks, very unfavorable movement. Umu has 2 different attacks that it can use on us, and it has phases where it's invulnerable. So we have to just sit around dodging attacks until Umu decides that it's time for us to attack. And that can be really, really frustrating if you get a bad pattern. So hopefully Viz gets a good pattern here. We'll see one attack from Umu where, I gotta be honest, I don't know Umu's gender. I was gonna say she. I actually don't know. But anyway,
I know a crid called it she a long time ago, and I was like, oh, I never really thought about it.
Yeah, so she has one attack where a number of different sections of the arena at once will light up with Luma flies, or to casual viewers, what look like little electricity bolts. And that's called the fast attack because it happens fast. And then there's another attack where little Luma flies will start spawning on our character regardless of where we are. And we have to run away from them for a little bit. So you want more fast attacks than slow attacks, and you don't want to get any extra attacks. If Viz doesn't get any extra attacks here, Umu will do 3 attacks. So he starts off with a fast attack, always good to see.
I like how you're flip-flopping between Jin.
I'm trying my best here.
Understandable.
I'll have to go to the wiki after and see what it says. But yeah, the movement we see Viz doing here, Viz is luring Umu in a very specific way so that we can push Umu out of bounds. And...
Woo!
Nice, well done. Yeah, so once Umu is out of bounds, there's no more friction. It's kind of a glitch. It's patched out of the game, I believe, in current patch. But so when Umu's out of bounds, without any friction, every time we hit it with the fireball, it just bounces back and we get double hits, which allows us to do a ton of damage with our upgraded fireball.
Yeah,
and that allows us to kill Umu in one cycle.
Yeah, and like that first cycle can be 3 or 4 attacks, and then each of those attacks can be either a fast or slow. You can't get all 3 of the same. Also, I just forgot to do the dash slash thing, but it's fine. But the second, like the second, third, and etc. cycles can be 2 or 3 attacks. So if you don't actually do enough damage, we do exactly Umu's health right there, and if we don't, then you have to stand around and wait until Umu becomes vulnerable again, which can be anywhere between, I think, 15 to 25 seconds.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. I think it's 15 to 25.
I also wouldn't be surprised to find out that that was a gold.
Yeah, so especially for higher level runners in this category, missing the Umu 1 cycle is kind of a death sentence for a PB, but
yeah,
we're not worrying about that here because Viz gets the 1 cycle.
Excuse me, is now a good time for a donation?
Yeah, go for it.
We have... I did a actual spit take. We got a $275 donation from Woofer ZFG.
Woofer!
What's up, Viz?
Hey, bud. Oh, we love Woofer in this house.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much, dude.
Woo! That pushes us up to $1,000 for day 1.
Woo!
Wowie zowie, thank you everybody for donating. Hot damn!
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I apologize for interrupting what was
No.
otherwise a very lovely Hollow Knight speed.
No, that's fine. That's fantastic to hear. That's awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Woofer. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
love
big
Woofer.
thanks to Woofer. Yeah. So this segment right here that Viz is going through, we're going back through Green Path a little bit where we were very early on in this run, because now we have enough movement abilities to get Great Slash, which is the 3rd and final nail art we unlock in this run. And again, it's not super used. I mean, none of the nail arts are used as much as Dash Slash, just for the utility it has to hit levers through walls. But this section coming up, I've heard people refer to this room as the Green Path of Pain, referencing another very, very difficult section in this run.
I've never heard that, but that makes sense.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think Herm used that in commentating somebody's race. I've adopted it now because I like it.
Also, just a side note to go back to Woofer's donation. If you guys don't know, Woofer is one of the creators of LiveSplit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you guys use LiveSplit, go ahead and send him a thank you on Twitter for making the program that makes everything possible.
Yeah, like literally how we all do what we do. Huge things.
Also, can everyone do me a favor and just go find his Twitter, which is WooferZFG, and tweet at him asking for the Angry Birds font in LiveSplit as a default? Thank you. That's his favorite thing. He loves when people do that.
Come on, he just donated a bunch, man. You're gonna do him like that.
He knew what was coming too. I know it.
Oh god.
So yeah, now that we have all of our nail arts, we are gonna go make our way over to the 3rd spell in the game called Howling Wraiths. Whoops, that was weird. Okay, cool.
Yep, works.
Yeah. And this arena can be a little finicky. I know a lot of people don't like it. Honestly, it was kind of a theme. I don't know about Axe's world record from yesterday, but a lot of the world records recently had like a really, really nice run, nice late game, except for this one arena, which just went like horribly wrong. For some reason, it was a theme.
Yeah, the thing about the Wraiths arena here is, so Viz is going to be in a room where the gates are locked and we have to kill a number of different squits, which are these little flying bug enemies. The benefit for runners is they always spawn in the exact same locations. So most runners have a very planned choreography for how they go through this arena and kill things. But it's the type of combat where if things don't go according to plan, and you go off script, it can get really, really hectic real quick. But Viz makes quick work of it there. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, as soon as it goes off the rails, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, it just waterfalls of time loss.
Meant to do a Cyclone Slash there. That's one of the main benefits of Cyclone Slash in this game for speedrunning is stuff like this right here, where it allows you to hit things like multiple times so that you can break walls quickly.
It just occurred to me that the only time in this run that we ever use Howling Wraiths is to upgrade it. Yeah. We literally don't use it for anything else in the entire run.
It's not a very good spell, but Bishreek, however, its upgraded version is the best spell in the game as far as damage goes, because it does 120 if you get all of the hits.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people wonder, I mean, I've heard newer runners ask, well, you know, if that's such a powerful spell, then why do we wait so long in the run to get it? Because as powerful as it is, it doesn't let us do anything in the run any faster than our current spells, honestly. And it's very, very, very out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super out of the way to get. the only time we are going to see it heavily used is against the final boss. And it makes that fight a lot quicker than you'd see in most other categories, too.
Ooh, that was rude. Can you get out of my way?
Ooh.
Alright, we're not healing.
We're not healing.
Fun fact about these little guys right there, those little orange spikes they shoot off, don't actually have a hurt box in this patch.
A hurt box.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, I know. I've just never heard it. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Like, I always wonder, like, how did that just get through game development? Like, oh, hey, these spikes just don't actually make contact. But,
I mean, the funny part, they do have a hurt box before this patch. It's specifically this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And
They just broke it on accident.
It's really funny. Yeah, yeah. So if ever in a run you need to heal up and gather some soul, you can just sit there dream nailing them over and over, and they literally can't damage you unless you decide that you want to walk into them.
Yep. So
we see Viz going to another dark. I think you and I are so used to these dark rooms, we just don't even think to commentate.
Yeah. Oh, I always miss that every single time. All right. But yeah, so we're coming up to the Beast Inn, which is the last Dreamer location, and normally you would sit on that bench right there that we just went by, but it's actually a fake trap bench where you get Spider-Man web-slinged to it. I think how I went with Spider-Man and they're just spiders, like, whatever.
Right.
Ooh, we did it, baby. And if you have double jump and like the dash and wall jump, you can get up to that area without doing like the intended way, because the intended way is like there's a long little cutscene you have to watch as you're like stuck to the bench, and pizza time. Shout out to Spider-Man Pizza Time, man.
I hate that I know what that's reference.
Also, their April Fool's video was supposed to be Wind Waker, but it was actually Spider-Man Pizza Time.
Oh my god.
But yeah, you can get through this area a lot faster if you just go through that little hidden section in the ceiling.
Yeah, so now we're gonna head over to the Abyss, which, if you remember, after we beat Hornet 2, I mentioned that we were picking up the King's Brand. We need that King's Brand to get into the Abyss here, which is going to give us the last two abilities that we need for this run to complete the all skills requirements, which are the Shade Cloak. Shade Cloak is going to allow us that when we use the dash ability, it's an ability that refreshes every couple seconds, so it's not every dash, but if you dash, you become invincible for a short time, which allows us to dodge attacks and move in really cool ways. And then the final spell we'll pick up is the Abyss Shriek, which is the upgraded form of Howling Wraiths, which we mentioned we'll be using very, very aggressively against the final boss.
Yep. In one of my most disliked fights in the game. And so another thing that's really cool about this ending section right here is, so we're going to come down and we're going to get Shade Cloak, and then we're going to get Abyss Shriek. And then as we leave, we have to climb all the way up this, what's called the Abyss. And something that's become kind of a fan favorite of speedrunners to IL is this climb, because there's a lot of interesting tech as far as movement to get out of here fast. And, and I'm going to try to show it off as best I can.
Yeah.
I knew I was too far left. One tiny thing that a lot of people actually don't know is, so I said earlier that the pogo refreshes your double jump, right? Well, something you're going to see a lot in the Abyss climb after we get Abyss Shriek is whenever you pogo something, yes, it does refresh your double jump, but it has a little bit of a delay. Like between the pogo, you actually can't double jump for like a half a second unless you turn around for some reason. So after you pogo, you just do a quick little turnaround, you can double jump immediately. And you're going to see that a lot in the Abyss climb, because it allows us to climb way faster than, like, it sounds like it's not a big deal, but it actually kind of adds up a lot.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't know that was a thing until I'd say like 2 or 3 months ago, when a Path of Pain runner actually taught me.
Oh,
which
nice.
It makes sense that in Path of Pain, that would be an incredibly important thing to save milliseconds here and there.
So what I just did right there was I got the Shade Cloak, which is where you touch the water. It gives it to you. But I did what's called the Taiwanese quit out, which saves 10 seconds of in-game time. It can kind of like lose time RTA if your computer's not fast enough, but it's called that because it was just randomly a Taiwanese runner submitted a run that he did it, and we saw it save 10 seconds, and we were like, wait, how did we not know about this? And we were like, oh, shoutouts, thanks, dude.
Yeah, and that's important to note that for pretty much all, at least on PC, all Hollow Knight speedrunning for the leaderboards, all we really care about is loadless time or in-game time.
Yeah.
Again, just to eliminate any advantages that would be gained by someone just having a more powerful computer for faster loads. We only use loadless time here. So yeah, there's a lot of strats we use that are faster for loadless, but might not be faster in an RTA environment.
Would it be possible for me to read a quick donation?
Yeah, go for it.
We have $100 from Funyuns.
Hey!
He says, let's go, Viz. Let's go, visuals.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Funyuns.
Right. Wow, y'all are popping off.
Hollow Knight gang. So what you just saw was us get the Abyss Shriek in a thing that I don't think a lot of casual players knew how to do without looking it up, including myself. I had no idea like what to do in that room.
Yeah. Yeah, so Viz is probably going to concentrate here while we do the most movement-intensive part in the entire game, which is the Abyss Climb. Like Viz mentioned, this is a kind of a fan favorite to watch. There's a lot of really cool movement here. There's a lot of spike pogos.
Oh, sad.
All the movement abilities we've unlocked throughout the run are on full display here. Viz having a little trouble here, though.
Yeah,
all right,
didn't quite get it.
It's all good.
Oh my gosh, please. Grab walls. Woo! That was a rough Abyss Climb. We're fine, though.
We were fine here, yeah. But yeah, that's the last real section of the run where we have to be very, very conscious of our movements and worry about those types of techs. Yeah, it's honestly a really fun section. It's probably the only room in Hollow Knight that actually makes my hands hurt if I do it over again. Like, there's just so much jumping and holding buttons and whatnot. But it's really fun to do.
All right, and because the incentive got met, we are going to go murder our friend Mila.
Yeah, so for those who don't know or unfamiliar with Hollow Knight, there's a little miner in Crystal Peaks where we were before. And when we start the game out, she's actually uninfected, and she'll talk to us and other stuff, and she's just happily working and singing. And as the game progresses and we pick up more abilities over and over, please don't die here, Viz.
I didn't.
That would make Mila lovers very happy if you died on the way to kill her. Not that. Yeah, so we go kill Mila here because an incentive was met. Just wastes time, but it's very worth it. How are we gonna? There we go. Yeah, so as the game goes on, more and more Mila becomes infected to the point where she's just an enemy that we can kill.
Get off me.
Some people get very, very mad when we kill Mila. I call it a proper... I'm just saying, if I ever become infected and I'm a brainless zombie killing machine, you guys have every right to take me out. Just saying.
All right, and then the final little trick here, we're going to do what's called Helicopter Night.
I was wondering which one you were going to do. Helicopter.
I like C-Dash Night as well, but Helicopter Night's always fun. It wastes time, but you get to do this little helicopter animation as you are in this room. It looks hilarious.
We've already established, swag over time save.
Of course. So, also fun fact, there's a bench in here. This is the Black Egg Temple, the area of the final boss. There's a bench right there, and a lot of people be like, oh, why don't you like sit there just in case you die to the final boss? If you die to this boss, you spawn there regardless, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's a hard save, which is very convenient.
I don't know how to do it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, you were gonna do
It's the cycling. I was actually getting it kind of often in practice, even though I kind of don't know how to do it, but whatever.
I stand like almost touching the one on the left. But anyway, so this is the final boss of the game, which again, I get, like I say, I don't like to use the word free, but it's a much easier fight with how many abilities and spells we have.
Ow.
And we get to see the Abyss Shriek on full display here. What makes this fight difficult if you're doing it optimally with Abyss Shriek is, as you can see, it's a spell that we shoot upwards. We need to get very, very close to the Hollow Knight to use that spell, which can cause a lot of unintentional hits, even for experienced runners. So the spacing in this fight is what really separates an optimal fight from a suboptimal fight. During the Hollow Knight self-stab phase there, all attacks only do 1 damage regardless of what they are. Oh.
No, I was too close. Damn, that's unfortunate.
I was gonna say. Pause real quick because I saw it, but yeah. Yeah, and that makes that fight really quick. GG, Viz. Well played.
Thank you, thank you. So what I try to do at the end there is called a scream skip, where if you can either fall on top of him or Shade Cloak dash into right on top of him, as he does that final scream, you can continue doing damage to him during the scream, but unfortunately I was a little too close and dashed through him. It's all good. But yeah. Yeah, and that's Hollow Knight All Skills. We'll go ahead and watch this last little cutscene here, but that was a 52-28 with a Mila detour.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I always say that this ending of the game is incredibly grim, that you go through all of this just to kill the Hollow Knight and then take his place as the infected vessel.
Yep. I like how you see the Hornet's emblem right there at the very end, right before it like becomes not a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great job on the run. GG. Thank you to everybody who donated. Viz, Rhino, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How can people find you if they want to watch you after today?
It is Vysuals TV, VYSUALS TV, on Twitch. You can follow my Twitter. It's just Vysuals, VYSUALS. I don't like the letter I, apparently. But yeah.
No I in visuals.
There is no I in Vysuals. Fun fact.
Yeah, and from
I'm sorry. I'll let you go in a second. The only reason. The main reason why is because my name is Brian with a Y, and instead of Brian with an I. So yeah, no I's. But yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter, both Rhino Feeder, spelled exactly like the English spelling of both of those words, no spaces. I'm also a Hollow Knight runner. I mostly focus on categories other than all skills, but I'm live most days. So yeah, come hang out with us.
Awesome. All right, well, we are going to take a quick ad break, and then we'll be back, and then we're going to get ready for the premiere of the Wind Waker video.
Woo!